Hello, everyone. For real, you son of a bitch. We are back, and we are very excited to talk about Predator Badlands. If it bleeds, we can kill it, but we ain't got time to bleed. But there is something out there waiting for us. And it's everybody that we have to talk about Predator Badlands, the latest movie in the very long standing franchise. So, with me, I have Luca Mehta.
Hello, good evening, good morning.
Hello, good sir. I have Shawn Peer.
Hello. So excited to be here and talk about this movie.
I have Ethan Hunter.
Hello.
And joining me, as always, the wonderful Thomas Stoneham-Judge.
What's up, guys? Let's get this started. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, this is the latest entry. This is the third film from Dan Trachtenberg, who previously directed Prey, and then also did the animated feature Killer of Killers, which is kind of like an anthology of Predator. So this this franchise has been going on since the first one came out in 1987, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and a bunch of giant sweaty dudes in tank tops and muscles shooting guns and saying words we don't say anymore. So trying to find those quotes was actually kind of difficult because there's a lot of them. I just recently watched The Predator, and there's some where I was like, "Ooh, no, you can't say that. Don't put that in there in the intro at all."
Predator or The Predator?
Predator. We don't talk about The Predator because that movie is awful.
Mm-hmm.
So we will get into Predator Badlands. We'll get into some spoilers. And we'll just kind of talk about this latest sci-fi action film that is kind of taking the box office by storm and crushing the weekend game. So let's actually just kind of get started with our relationship to Predator overall. We've got about 7 films since the original. So we will go ahead and start with you, Luca. So just kind of give me a rundown about your relationship with Predator and kind of how you feel about the series overall.
So as a youngin, I am not really. I wasn't really introduced to the Predator franchise in really like a really bombastic way. Like I don't know, it was one of those things that always existed in the cultural consciousness. Like you had like get to the chopper and stick around, but like it never really coalesced with me personally. Like I don't know, it was just a movie I watched when I was like 16. Never really went back to it, revisited it. Never really cared to. And then I watched Prey in 2022, and that one was like that kind of changed my perception of the Predator franchise, which I'd only seen the first and Prey by that point, and I was kind of hooked. And then I watched the other ones, and they're not good. I really tried with Predator 2. It has like the first 15 minutes are like crack, and then the rest is really boring. 20 Twins Predators is fine. I like when Walton Goggins gets his spine ripped out. And then there's the Shane Black one. I'm not going to say anymore. But Prey, I really enjoyed. Killer of Killers, I wrote a glowing review on. And Badlands, here we are.
Awesome. Shawn, what about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Luca. So yeah, I unfortunately have not seen the earlier Predator movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. My introduction to the franchise was the 2018 Predator, and yeah, it's not a good movie. It wasn't a good introduction to the franchise, so obviously watching that did make me feel compelled to go back. But I also watched Prey in 2022, and it's a great movie. And I was excited to see the future of this franchise and what they would do with it. I've yet to see Killer of Killers. That is embarrassing to say. But I was looking forward to this movie because this is the first theatrical Predator movie in 7 years, I think 7 years since 2018. And it was good. I really enjoyed it. I don't love as much as everybody else, which for reasons we'll obviously get into. But honestly, even if Dan Trachtenberg does not continue with this franchise, he moves on to something else. I think this franchise is in capable hands, and I think Disney seeing that people want to see these movies and the movie making as much money as it did is a good sign that they'll take care of it better than other franchises. But yeah, I think regardless of what we think of this movie, it's a good win for theaters. It's a good win for the Predator franchise in general.
Yeah. Ethan, how about you?
So my history with this franchise started in 2021 when I saw Alien for the first time. I'm just kidding. My experience with the Predator franchise, not the wider cinematic universe, started in
We'll get into that. Don't worry.
August 7th, 2022. I watched on the same day Predator and Prey. And I'm going to be honest, I like Prey a lot more than Predator. It was on, I think it was this past year. No, it was last year, June 21st, 2024. The TIFF Lightbox actually played the Comanche dub of, I saw Luca point, he was also there, according to my Letterboxd review tags. They played Prey, the Comanche dub, at the cinema, and that was really fun. And I think it's a great time to see these movies theatrically. Unfortunately, I didn't really have like a big audience for Predator Badlands, but I did for Prey because everyone was like, holy shit, we gotta see this, because it was a streaming movie for some fucking reason. Yeah. So I have only seen Predator, Prey, and now Predator Badlands. I never watched Killer of Killers. Maybe I'll get around to it someday. I have no idea.
Okay. And Thomas.
Yeah, my experience with Predator films is pretty sparse. If I'm gonna be really honest, I don't know. It's just never been entertainment that I've really gravitated towards. I'm sure at some point I watched Predator way back when, and like the original one, but I don't know. I did see Alien versus Predator.
I'm
That was
sorry.
fun. It's really funny because what was that, 2004? Like I was still young and impressionable and like okay with just like silly action. So like yeah, I need to revisit it just to see if like my positive vibes about that movie actually hold up. But really that's all. I unfortunately haven't seen Prey yet. I haven't seen Killer of Killers yet. But I want to go visit them now because I really I liked what was done here with Badlands. Really the like I don't know storytelling history that I can really speak most to here is Dan Trachtenberg with 10 Cloverfield Lane. Like that was my selling point because 10 Cloverfield Lane is awesome. Like I love that movie so much. And so with that and this movie here, I think Dan has quite the career so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing whatever he does within this Predator universe or whatever other stories he wants to tell.
Yeah. So for me, I think I probably have the longest standing relationship, but that's because I probably double some of you guys in age.
I almost mentioned that you might be the only one that outages the Predator movies.
No, I most certainly do. And I look, we already have Luca on here, and he already makes me feel like I need to start going for AARP. But yeah, so I have a pretty long standing relationship with the franchise. I've seen almost all of them. And if I haven't seen them all in totality, I've seen them all in bits and pieces. And there are wildly varying results. I think Predator is one of those films that if you saw it, if you're my age and you saw this film, it kind of like you're talking about, Thomas, there's an impressionable mode that this film kind of operates in where, yeah, it is just a lot of some of the most famous wrestlers, Arnold Schwarzenegger, just big muscly dudes stuck in the woods trying to fight off an unkillable, unseeable monster. And truthfully, that's all you need in an 80s action movie. That is just a line of Coke and a pitch, and we're good to go. And that stands the test of time. Now, every iteration after that, I think, has really suffered because I don't think people really know how to tap into what makes the original Predator last for so long. But this franchise has expanded well beyond films. There are graphic novels, there are multiple kind of low-key series, anime, all that kind of stuff. So there's a ton of crossover with Alien, and there's a whole mythology that we're just not even going to really get into too much. But yeah, so it's huge. For me, I've enjoyed the original one. I hate most of everything that's come out since, except for when we get to Prey, because Prey was just like the shot of lightning of like, just do this all the time. Just do this. Like, this is how you should frame Predator all the time from now on, because this is what we need. So I was all in once we got to Prey. Killer of Killers is also excellent. I think it does a really good job in creating, expanding the lore and expanding the world while never diminishing some of the terror that comes with something like Predator. So really enjoy what Trachtenberg has done. And I was excited for Badlands, and I walked away from it, and we're going to get into it right now, but I walked away from it feeling like this is a really, really good sci-fi action hero story with a Predator skin. Because it's not really a Predator movie, which is a strange thing to say, even because the only character really in the movie is a Predator and his android. But it definitely has a bit of this almost Marvel Disney treatment that I think really takes away from some of the things that make Predator great. But that's not to say it's a bad movie, because it's not. It's really, really good. I just think it's probably the lesser of the three. So yes, that's my long-standing history with it. So let's just talk about Badlands. We're going to open it up. I'm not going to call on anybody, but let's just talk about Badlands. Let's just kind of get into it. We can do spoilers. I don't think there's a whole lot to spoil. I feel like if you've seen any Marvel movie or any episode of The Mandalorian, you have basically seen Predator Badlands, kind of. I mean, it's basically the same thing in concept. So,
I'm gonna go ahead and jump in because Derrick, we talked a little bit about this, and I think that statement that you're making, where this is a hero's journey story with a Predator skin on it, I think that's entirely accurate. Like this story, I think, could apply anywhere. I don't think it's very specific to the Predator. And I can also see kind of this criticism of like maybe it overexposes the Predator lore, it takes a little bit of that mystique from Predator away. But as you just heard me say, I'm not very invested in Predator. So as a hero's journey, I dug it. I was on board start to finish. And I just like what it did with the storytelling. And so, if you're going for a Predator movie, there might be some reservations that you have, but if you're going for entertainment and a really good hero's journey and a movie about great character development, and seeing the degree of separation that exists between Deck when he starts the movie and Deck when he ends the movie, and everything he learns in between, like that tickles my fancy. So I was here for it.
Yeah, going off of what Thomas said, unfortunately, I think what you liked about the movie is what was really holding me back from loving it. I found it very generic and predictable sometimes, unfortunately. I could see where the story was going. It follows very, again, like I know I use the word, but generic story beats. I do like the perspective or the twist of taking a Predator and using him as a protagonist. I think that's a very interesting way to go about things. It just, for me, it was hard to connect with these alien species and these androids. Elle Fanning being there speaking English is like the studio's way of having a character that audiences can connect to, because they go, oh, that's Elle Fanning and she's speaking a language that I know. But she's still an android. And when it's just
I'm sorry, really quick.
Predators and predators fighting androids, and it's just green goo and these like robotic arms getting ripped out, it's just hard for me personally to feel the stakes when I just don't connect with these people. I'm not saying that there have to be a bunch of humans for me to feel like there's something that's at stake there, but I just couldn't fully get into as much as I wanted to, because I just didn't feel as invested as I feel like I could have. And I feel like it trapped itself in a box by doing that, because I don't know if there's anything it could have done with the story, because this is what they chose to do, if that makes sense.
I think it's interesting the shortcuts it takes, because what you're saying about her speaking English, I actually found that kind of hilarious. Like, oh, we have to make this accessible to everyone. Let's have
Like,
this
they didn't
really
even try to hide it.
half-assed
Yeah.
like explanation. Hey, I can speak something that everybody understands. You hear
Like,
it in
who's
your
everybody?
language,
You're
I
just
hear it
talking
in
to
mine.
one creature that does not like who understands it, but like it's a movie. I'm not gonna be picky and be like that's not realistic, because as someone who loves movies, I'm not gonna be like that would never happen in real life. I don't like those people, because like you're not allowing yourself to be immersed into the theatrical experience and be invested in a movie. Like it's a movie because it's a movie because it makes those choices. So it wasn't that specifically, but I don't know. It just never really did anything for me to really like lean forward in my chair and be like, oh shit, like this is insane. Like I could just see what was happening. And then when spoiler alert, I'm sorry, but I assume we were getting to spoilers when Elle Fanning's android sister Tessa, I think she's Tessa, comes in with the alien, with the aliens like yellow thing that Sigourney Weaver comes into. I'm like, oh my god, like, like it just never really like took that next step for me to stand out and stick out. And even though I haven't seen every Predator movie, when you're 7 franchises in and you've seen something like Prey, which really takes a spin on the franchise, I guess I just want to see something a bit more out there. I hate to sound so negative, and I do see why people love this movie, but for me, I did like it. I just wanted a bit more.
I just want everybody to know I love Negashawn. Negashawn is my favorite.
I'm not.
It's my favorite version of Sean, and I want this to continue.
Evil Sean.
Evil Sean. I love it so much.
We'll find a
Negashawn.
movie that I hate, and I'll be like, we're doing a podcast this weekend. But I did like this movie. I just wanted a bit more personally. But I'm excited to hear what you guys thought of it, because I know a lot of you guys enjoyed it a lot more than me. So I'm really excited to have this discussion.
Yeah,
Like,
who
yeah,
for
else
me, I
liked it?
have
Wait, I'm not
generally-
the only one that really liked it, am I?
No,
Oh, okay.
I like
Whew.
this.
Okay,
I know Luca
cool.
loved it, Ethan
Guys,
loved it.
sound off. Support
Yeah,
me. Help
yeah.
me out here.
Yeah,
There's something I wanted to touch on when you mentioned the Sigourney Weaver yellow alien construction thing. If this was Romulus, this was a Fede Alvarez movie, she would have just said, "Get away from her, you bitch," for no
I
reason.
thought she was going to. Honestly,
Yeah.
I really thought she was going
Oh,
to.
that would have
But-
sucked.
Yeah, but this is made by someone who isn't soulless hack. So
Oh, jeez.
anyway, speaking of hacks, if you want to see a movie with a Predator, see this one. Don't go see Tron Ares. I think that Predator Badlands it's a fun romp, and of the 2 Disney products that are in cinemas right now, you can't go wrong with this. The trailer, speaking of Mandalorian, the trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu was on before this, and I was rolling my eyes because that looks like a wash piece of trash. But Predator Badlands, I did kind of chuckle at the moment where it was like, it's a universal translator. You'll hear me, and everyone who else is listening will hear their language. And it's like, oh, that's kind of silly. Like, sure, why not? But I was kind of scared for a moment there. They were going to make Deck, the Yautja, speak English, but he still spoke Yautja. And I was like, am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's how I pronounce it.
Yeah, I was like, God, that'd be really stupid there. But I appreciate it, and I connected more to Deck. Like that was kind of my anchor for the movie, was seeing like, okay, how does he evolve and how does he become the apex predator? And since we're just talking full spoilers, like how does he become the wolf? I thought that was a really like neat little spin. Like obviously, like if you've seen a movie like this, like you'll see where it's going. I don't really think about the forwarding of plots when I watch movies, I guess. I just watch each scene and I'm like, oh, this is a good scene. Let's see what happens next. Oh, this is a good scene. Let's see what happens next. I don't really ever. Is that just me where I just don't think about what is going to happen in a movie, I guess?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
And
since we're in
sometimes it
we're in
depends.
spoiler territory, like I did not see the monkey dude being the
Yeah.
the child. Like that threw
Yeah.
me off. I was like, oh wow, that was a twist.
Mhm.
Cool.
And you expect the child to come back. Bud, I think, is what Elle Fanning nicknames it.
Bud.
Bud. And you're all like, oh, I wonder when it'll come back. And then it's like, oh, that's the kid. That's so interesting. And I love all of these action set piece dynamics where you're like, oh, how is he gonna get around this one? Like the razor grass. I thought that was really cool. And it's like, okay, chop a tree down so I can just make like a bridge over to get the monster alien. I love the designs of everything in this. Every time there was something like the plant that shoots darts that paralyzed. Thank you. I was gonna say make you sleepy. Who am I thanking? Myself.
You did thank yourself.
Yeah. Little things like that. And I love the cryo grenade. Like it seemed a little weird to be a part of his arsenal considering everything else he had, but that was really cool. I love how Deck has to work up. So you have at the beginning of the movie where he's doing the Joel Schumacher Batman collecting all of his gear and like woo, 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 like fucking 2003 Daredevil, and then all of it's just gone immediately. Like he doesn't have it anymore, and it's like, okay, how does he use what's around him to work for the rest of the film? And that's something that I got from the other Predator movies, and it happens at the beginning of this one, and it happens at the end where he has to begin with, okay, how do I use what I have left to keep going? And at the end, it's like, okay, how do I use this planet to complete my goal? And I think that was really interesting because in Prey and in Predator, it's the very end of the movie where it's like, okay, I'm going to suit up in all this mud so it can't see me, or fuck, whatever happens in Prey. I'm just brain farting right now. But I think the dynamics that this movie creates, I think it really uses the fact that it's on an alien planet very well. And I think that's where I'll leave it for now for somebody else to take, because I think I'm just yapping at this point.
Luca, I know
for
you
me,
wrote about it, so yeah, I definitely want to hear your thoughts.
So for me, I have no attachment to the Predator franchise whatsoever. Like, again, as I said earlier, like once I did my Predator deep dive, I kind of realized how apathetic I felt to most of the franchise. Like Predators was like again, like kind of funny because Walton Goggins would just say like extremely abhorrent shit, and Topher Grace would just be like, yeah. And that was kind of all I took from it. The Predator is just like not funny like that. But that said, since I have no attachment to this franchise, I'm willing to let rules break very easily. So like, I see people talk about, how, they kind of like Baby Yoda-ified it or Mandalorian and Grogu-ified it. And my first thought is like, Mandalorian didn't invent the idea of having a weird animal sidekick. Like, I get it, but like that's not where it comes from. I don't know. It's a weird kind of cop out to me. But that said, like, since I'm so open to rules being broken, that's why I'm kind of so in love with the way that Badlands kind of flips everything on its head, and not just Predator. I think something that we should talk about regarding Elle Fanning's character is that in the entire history of the Alien franchise, she is the only synthetic that like actually gives a shit like about anything. And I saw some people talk about like, why did they give the synthetics emotions or something like that, completely forgetting like Ian Holmes' like insane paranoia from the first Alien, which great performance. But my willingness to see, Trachtenberg kind of just be new with everything is kind of why I love Badlands so much. Like, as Ethan said, like, there's that bit with the tree, it's kind of video gamey in a way. I've seen people kind of compare it to Banjo-Kazooie in a way. But I like Banjo-Kazooie. So like, how can I say no?
I never even put that together, but it's so true.
And like of course, like, there's like the trapping of like, oh, Elle Fanning on Deck's back is like Luke and Yoda or whatever like that. You can kind of compare it to Star Wars all day, but if you really want to get down to brass tacks, I'd rather watch 18 Predator Badlands than whatever they're doing in Star Wars right now. So I think the TLDR to that whole thing is that I want to be shown new things all the time. And Prey was already the back to basics approach that I wanted for this franchise. So then it's only up from there. What do you do next? And Badlands is the logical next step.
Yeah, I think I largely agree with you, even though my excitement and enjoyment of the film was a little bit more tepid. I think some of that is just my longstanding history with the Predator franchise overall. But at the same time, I agree that we should be moving things forward. I think a lot of my hesitations just come from some of the ways that those things are implemented. I do find, I think comparing it to things like Star Wars and Mandalorian, I think it's more of just the Disneyfication of Badlands that is almost impossible to separate. And while Disney didn't invent the tropes, and they're not the inventors of sci-fi by any means, right? They're not the inventors of sci-fi, The Boy and His Wolf. They don't invent any of those things. But a large majority of their dominating monopoly in cinema all stem and all tend to have those types of stories. And so when you see that baked into something like Predator Badlands, that has such a promising start in Trachtenberg's existence from like Prey to Killer of Killers, I feel like Badlands just has this Disney sheen across it. Not necessarily in the way it looks, because I actually think it looks pretty freaking awesome. I
Was
think
it
visually
really dark for anyone else, or is that just the projection in the cinema I saw?
There
Like,
were
it
some
felt
moments that-
very
yeah.
like gray and muddled, like the fight in the
Yeah.
cave. I couldn't tell what
the
fuck
fight in the
was
cave was
happening.
hard. That opening sequence,
Yeah.
I think Thomas even mentioned it too when we were
Mhm.
talking offline, where he was like, "Oh God, I hope it doesn't do this the whole movie."
Right.
Where you just use night to make your visual effects look better. So I think the world building is excellent. I really enjoyed the planet of Jenna and just the inventiveness that you're forcing the Predator to work with. I think for me, two things hold it back. One, you can basically just make deck anything. It doesn't have to be a Predator. You can literally make it any kind of warrior soldier of across any platform that you want, and the movie functions almost exactly the same. So it never felt like a Predator movie to me. And then also, and we can harp on this for a little bit, this PG-13 rating, that shit's got to go. When your animated anthology is more violent than your new Predator movie in theaters, we have to have a conversation. I think the PG-13 framework really robs this movie of not necessarily its violence, because it does still have a lot of violence, but it most certainly robs the edge and the terror of an apex predator by like a lot. The difference between ripping through a bunch of synthetics that I genuinely don't give a shit about, that might as well all be clones, or if you want to do Star Wars, they really might as well be clones from Clone Wars. It might as well just be that, because they have no impact whatsoever. So watching them brutally get dismantled, and we don't even see, it's so PG-13, there's not even android blood, it's just glowing sparks and wires. And so
I think you see a little milk.
Do you? Do you know?
Yeah, I think there's a little milk.
I think you're thinking of Die My Love. That's a different podcast.
Oh,
Sorry. I apologize. That just derailed everything. My apologies. So yes, I think there is. I think, to me, I feel like that really holds it back. I agree that it is visually stunning. I think, to Ethan's point, I love the inventiveness of the world, and I actually really enjoy. I actually think Deck figuring out how to exist on a planet that is genuinely trying to kill him, and then discovering how to utilize those things as weapons to survive. That to me is awesome. I absolutely loved it. I also do think Elle Fanning is having the time of her life. I think she's having a great time. And this movie genuinely doesn't work if you don't have somebody like Elle Fanning, who is just totally invested, totally committed, just dialing into her comedic chops, and kind of just not caring what, like, she's so unserious, and that actually makes it better. And I don't mean that as usually that's like a detrimental statement, but like, this movie works because she knows exactly what movie she is in. And I think she really powers through a lot of it. a fun game if you guys want to play it. Does anybody want to actually try to pronounce this guy's name who plays Deck
Nope.
properly? Okay,
Nope.
good.
Dimitrius. That's it.
Dimitrius. There you go.
Dimitrius, Schuster. Am I allowed to look up? Am I allowed to like read it, or can I just do I have to?
You
do it
can
off
try to
dome?
read it if
You
you
can
want
try
to. Like,
Try it.
Okay. Hold
I
on.
think it's
Dimitrius.
Koloamatangi.
Yeah, Koloamatangi.
Koloamatangi. I was close.
on the
That's
top.
what I'm looking
I think
myself
I don't know. You're talking to a 2-time spelling bee runner-up, so don't take me for credit too much.
Hey.
We didn't give you the origin of the word, and we can't use it in a sentence. So, we're kind of hindering your rules for you. I understand. No, I do want to talk about the PG-13 of it all, because I do think that's a big difference, not just in the direction that Trachtenberg is trying to take, but just in where this franchise can go and whether or not you guys think that hurts or helps Badlands.
Is Prey R? I can't remember. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't seen since.
Those are human spines that get ripped out,
Yeah.
not wires.
Oh my god, I love Prey.
It's
Christ, so good.
it's tough because I really feel like Disney might have been using this as like a test to see how a Predator movie would do in theaters, and they're like, we'll do it if it's PG-13 so we can at least maximize profit and get families in there, because I was next to a family with young kids and they were fine. So and it's a business at the end of the day, and I'm hoping that maybe this is like this was just a bit more tamed down just so we can get the Predator franchise back into the minds of general audiences. And for the next installment, we go hard R, we go all out, we go back to Prey, Killer of Killers. That's the only thing I can think of, because yeah, it is weird that for his third movie that proved success, albeit on streaming, they would then go back to they would go to a PG-13, if not for just to see how it would do. I think Disney just wanted to play it safe. And
they always want to do that.
yeah,
I think
I really think that's what it is.
I think your theory is right, even though it is unfortunate because we've seen a history of R-rated movies being very successful.
Yeah.
And this is it's definitely a safe move making it PG-13. As you probably heard with my enthusiasm, I don't mind. I enjoyed the movie. And I don't know, maybe subconsciously the R rating is why I don't pursue Predator movies, so that's something for me to think about. But yeah, no, it definitely was a play to get more people in, or at least theoretically get more people into theaters. And I do wonder, I guess we'll see now that this experiment is proven successful so far. I do wonder if they do make it rated R, and with this, the positive word of mouth of the previous few Predator movies, that if they do go R the next time, will people respond to that and make the R rating and the scenes that that cause that R rating, make those very buzzworthy kind of moments in the movie. Yeah, I didn't mind PG-13 here. I do think it's kind of out of character for a Predator movie, but again, I wasn't quite here for a Predator movie, and so it didn't bother me as much.
Yeah, for me, as like I'm gonna pull my gamer nerd card. So in some video games, especially in foreign markets, they'll edit the blood to be not red so that the game can be playable in a foreign market. And that was kind of my thought process with Badlands. Like for me, it was just more like no red blood. Okay, whatever. Like that
Combat
was
on the
that was kind of,
SNES.
like yeah, like again, like back to my Banjo-Kazooie comparison, like it kind of just felt like I was playing a Predator game, and not in the bad way. Like, and well, circling back to Alien, Ethan's point, or Romulus. If Romulus was more like Alien Isolation, maybe we would be onto something. But that's another conversation topic. But I also want to circle back to Derrick and Ethan's point about ingenuity, just because I think that's what makes like this franchise so goddamn good. Like, we can kind of throw away Predators and Predator 2018 because I don't like them, but like the ones that are good, like, and I mean even the Danny Glover one, like these are all about characters having to adapt to a situation, and the situation being extremely difficult. And I think that I think Deck really steps up to plate as a character, and I don't know. I kind of want to see where this franchise goes more with Deck. Just, after following his journey and knowing how smart of a character he is, especially his relationship with Thia, who's she's an android, like she's kind of designed to be smart. So it's a lot about the decision making with these characters that I'm kind of so attached to, and that's what makes me want to see the next one with Mom coming home.
Yeah. I have a theory, and I if Trachtenberg gets to keep doing what he wants, and I think he can. I think this movie's made enough money to where he can do whatever. He's going to get a blank check for whatever he wants to do next. My hope is that the ending of what are we talking about? Badlands. The ending of Badlands lines up with the ending of Killer of Killers, and they form a new clan where it's the three from them plus all of the killers that they brought back to be champions, including the main character from Prey, and they all line up and they have to fight predators on their home planet to fight the mom or whatever. That's for me, that would be dope. That would just be like this beautiful little bow on all of it, but who knows?
I do
For
like
me,
a
that's kind of what I'm
connected
scared
cinematic
of.
universe.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah, that sounds like
in
Marvel.
Killer of Killers.
we're going there
In
though.
Killer of
Predator
Killers,
Endgame.
they showed that they had Danny Glover and Arnold Schwarzenegger in cryo freeze, and like the implications of that, like if you want to kind of think positively about it, the implications of that being like the predators are just kind of kidnapping whoever the hell they feel like and taking back to their home planet. Maybe we won't see Dutch. God, I really don't know Danny Glover's name in that movie. But maybe we'll see them again. I don't know.
Well, and real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So the kidnappings are not random. They are taking back whoever has actually killed a predator as a champion to go back to their planet and fight, because that's what they honor.
Yeah, for
right?
like their gladiator thing.
Exactly. Like these are, if you can kill a predator, you are welcomed to their planet to be essentially a gladiator and a fighter. It's like a great honor. So it's not random. It's only people who have in fact killed a predator that are taken back to the planet. But anyways, continue.
But I really like. I really don't want to be a cynic or a pessimist or anything, but like after really loving what Trachtenberg has done with the last three entries, I would be genuinely heartbroken if the next Predator movie is just Predator: The Rise of Skywalker, where they bring back Arnold de-aged, Danny Glover de-aged, fuck it, Adrian Brody's there too.
Grace for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
He's just there. I don't know. Fuck it. Let's just get Walton Goggins back from Predators. Like, let's just do whatever. But
bring back all the xenomorphs. Tie in Alien Romulus. Let's go.
Another IDF soldier from Predators.
Yeah, but like that's like I guess the conclusion that I'm really worried about going into the next Predator, because that was also what I was like petrified of going into Badlands. I texted my girlfriend before we were going into the movie. I said, if I see CGI Arnold or Danny Glover, I'm going to be so pissed. And thankfully, like Badlands kind of circumvented that. Like, I mean, Badlands doesn't even have it. If it bleeds, you can kill it, which like, sure, why not? But like less Easter eggs, the better for me. And if we are going to go down the Disney-ified rabbit hole where our actual endpoint is just like, again, the Rise of Skywalker, I will be inconsolable.
That's fair.
So where are the rest of you guys on this? Do you want to crush Luca's dreams, or are you down for the continuation of the Marvel treatment?
No, I can't take being on the internet for another Rise of Skywalker. Like that was insane to go through. And yes, the Predator franchise is not Star Wars, but it being Disney too, Disney owning all these properties that Luca's like mentioning, like I would really hope they don't go that way, and they're trusting Dan Trachtenberg and whatever future filmmaker they get to make these future movies, that they won't just do whatever. Like Rise, like that whole, we're getting off topic, but the sequel trilogy was a mess because they had no plan.
Mhm.
they don't need a plan for the Predator franchise, but they can just not go overboard with it. Like if you have these, like I haven't seen Kill of Kills, but you're saying that they show Schwarzenegger and Glover's characters in cryosleep. Is that right?
Yes.
So just, I mean, just the implication of it being there, I think is enough. But I don't know if you need to. I don't know if you need to, then like go with that. But knowing Disney,
Like-
they see dollar signs and they go, oh, we can get them back. We can pay enough money and they'll come back. And I don't know. I
The
agree with
franchise
you. I
rights
don't think that's real.
alone will
Look,
make us
in
millions.
a perfect world, it's just Amber Midthunder that like if we're gonna do that, it's in a perfect world, it's only Amber Midthunder comes
Oh, I
back.
love her so
And like,
much.
oh no, more Naru, twist my arm, why don't you? Like, she's fucking awesome. Like, what am I gonna say? And like, but like, it'll once we get like, I don't know. Look, I'll be fine if it's just like older Arnold, like they do in like Terminator Genesis. If we are gonna get Arnold, just don't give him the CGI clusterfuck makeup. But yeah, I'm kind of just worrying myself into a rabbit hole that I don't think exists.
Knowing
Sean said,
Disney, you're completely valid because they did it with
yeah,
Star Wars.
but I
They're
don't,
doing
I
it
don't
with
want to be too
Doomsday.
cynical.
You know, they kind of did it with Tron Ares, with bringing back Jeff Bridges again. Like, no, you are completely valid in being scared that Disney is going to take something that's working and is good because they're not trying too much and then going overboard with it and ruining it. It sucks.
Well, because it's funny because
I love that on a Predator Badlands podcast. This is the most I've talked about Tron Ares since I've seen it.
Most anybody's talking about Tron Ares.
That's
Yeah,
good.
this is the most
Keep taking
anybody
shots,
ever
guys.
has
Keep
talked
taking
about Tron
shots.
Ares.
I love it. Yeah.
But like that said, like I do agree with you, Sean, that Trachtenberg definitely has a plan, and he's smarter than somebody like Fede Alvarez, you know, who doesn't really know what he's doing. I think Trachtenberg, like again, like Trachtenberg knows how to do like the whole, you know, tying shit in really well. Like the only real tie-in that Predator or that Prey had to the other Predator movies was the flintlock pistol from Predator 2, which I'm still kind of figuring out how that whole works. I don't know. I'm not really going to give a shit about a MacGuffin. And they say, if it bleeds, we can kill it. That's the extent of all of like the, you know, the point and like, you know, shit your pants references in that movie. And I get Badlands has, I guess, just a couple too, because there's like what the big mech from Aliens and the funny monkey does a spine tear. And that's kind of it. You know, the less Easter eggs, the better.
Weyland-Yutani is directly from Alien franchise. Like
yeah, but I mean, I'm just more talking about
doing the Alien v Predator thing there. So, but yes,
the spine rip
yeah,
totally is a Predator thing because my brain saw that and I'm like, oh, it's Sub-Zero's fatality from Mortal Kombat. But Predator was absolutely before Mortal Kombat, and I did want to mention that. Yeah, I agree. This is video gamey and the best video game movie since Hundreds of Beavers.
Nice. Good call out.
Fair.
I definitely got that video game vibe. I don't play video games, but like just there, I don't know. The whole setup just seemed like a video game. Like this is the best video game adaptation of a game that does not exist.
You're totally right.
It's genuinely an open world video game.
Yeah.
I love those games, but that is most certainly what it is. Where every new land you unlock has a different challenge, and you have to unlock new skills, and you have to utilize those skills in these specific places, and you've got new enemies, and yeah, it's very video gamey for sure.
Well, if you want to think about the structure,
40 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to think about the structure, you can say that the opening bit on Yatra Prime is like the opening cinematic, and then once Deck crash lands onto Genna, and then he's fighting off those like the sentient vines, that's like your tutorial sequence, so you're learning the controls or whatever.
Oh my god.
You know, like there is an inherent video gaminess to Predator Badlands, but I really like video games, so it you know, passed me for flying colors.
And I enjoy those types of video games, so all of those aspects don't bother me. I'm actually all in on those things. So yeah.
You know, it's interesting. So something that I was thinking about with this movie as I was watching it is thematically what this movie is doing. Obviously, we have the hero's journey thing going on here, right? Like that's the whole through line from start to finish, and that really appeals to me, seeing where Dex starts and how he really is a runt. Everything about him, his fighting style, his attitude, his demeanor, he just has no confidence whatsoever, and he's just kind of arrogant and with nothing to back it up. So like starting from there and then going to the end where he does learn these skills, he does learn more about what it means to be part of a pack and to be an alpha and all that stuff, and then using all those skills to eventually defeat the actual boss of the of the game, so to speak, I suppose. But there's interesting things happening here when it comes to themes that I don't know, just kind of trying to work out in my head, because you have this character Deck who comes from a clan that has this series of beliefs, and is then taken into a new environment, introduced to a new person, essentially being taken out of his echo chamber to learn something new about his world, about the world view and the world that he lives in, or I guess the universe that he lives in. I don't know if it was intentional to like have that like little political message in there to like get outside of your echo chamber and expand your world a little bit to, comprehend other people's beliefs and maybe see if that is appropriate for what, how you're going about life. Did anyone else get this political kind of undertone with the theme here?
Not really, but I get it.
I can see the Breitbart headline now. Predator Badlands goes woke.
The headline already happened, Derek. That's been happening already.
I hate what we do, I swear.
Oh my god, I got a comment on one of my reviews for it saying that I was a paid shill for Disney. I wish.
Saw that. That was hilarious.
Not to get too off topic, but every time someone says that, I'm like, guys, if I was getting Marvel checks, you genuinely would never hear from me. I would straight up I would only exist in this one specific niche, and trust me, there would be signs if I was getting that Disney Marvel show money.
Well, I feel like there has been like some, I don't know, I've just been seeing it through the grapevine or whatever. It's like, they made Predator woke, they made it a romance. Like guy who has never seen the movie, by the way. Like I saw somebody genuinely say that like they made the Predator movie a romance, and I'm like, no, that's not what happened.
I'm not watching the movie.
Yeah, I will admit, I will admit, for me, the part of this kind of what you're talking about, Thomas, I didn't get the political message, but I do feel like for me, I have some hesitancy in having sympathy for Predator, and Deck is extremely sympathetic. And for me, and some of this is just my longstanding history with it, where that's just not an answer to a question I've ever asked about wanting to know more about the lore. I read a review and someone said this is like watching Terminator 2 from the eyes of the T-800. And
Dan has actually been on record saying Terminator 2 is a massive influence in how he developed this.
Yeah, and I can see that, but I'm sorry, the T-1000 is what it's like from that perspective. And it's like, okay, but like I don't need to go back and make the T-1000 a hero. Like that is a liquefied villain to its core. Like we don't need any more. I don't need sympathy for that. And so for me, it's not woke by any means, and it's definitely not a romance. And if that's what you got out of it, like, I'm sorry you don't know any women that talk to you. I apologize.
I was gonna say they saw a woman and it's woke. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's on you, bro. Like, that's not on anybody else. But I do think that having too much sympathy for an entire creature and culture that is surrounded by just instilling terror and being an apex predator, to me there's something that gets diminished there. I still found it intriguing and I still found it interesting, but I don't know. To me that was the part of it where I was like, I don't really like that. I'm just so overly sympathetic. Like I don't want him to be a hero, and I know it's a hero's journey, but it's just kind of, I don't know, it takes away something for me. It takes a little bit of that bite and that grit from the story, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, sorry, Luca, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. To me, the Predator as like a concept has always been extremely multifaceted. Like you do have the feral predator from Prey, who's literally just an agent of chaos that just wants to kill everything in sight. But then you have the Predator from Predator 2, where he's like, well, albeit he is still sowing chaos like an insane person, but he also has like a very, very, very rigid code of honor. And that's what makes the Yautja so interesting. And to Thomas's point about kind of like getting out of your echo chamber, I feel like that it's a great point that I didn't think of before. When I was thinking about it, it was more just kind of like just, finding your own sense of individualism, because especially you're thinking about not only Deck, but Thea, who are both, kind of cogs in a very large running machine. I mean, particularly Thea, who's literally like a machine that's from a machine. But, I think once these characters have to kind of separate from the paths that, their makers had set for them and kind of find their own path, I think that's what makes Badlands so interesting. Like the stuff about Deck kind of dropping the Yautja code and just kind of doing his own thing. And honestly, it was really cool to see him go full native and just kind of just adopt everything about Genna that he learned. And, he's not, again, like he's not using the cryonades anymore. He's using like, paralyzed spike plant grenades instead. Like
and exploding worms.
Like that's so cool.
That's great.
I will admit, I have some hesitancy on this movie, but that shit rocked. the bladed grass as new knives and like that whole sequence, I was like, okay, yeah, this is dope. This is really cool.
Yeah, but to me, like it was all about kind of becoming your own individual. And to me, Deck was an unlikely hero to me, because Deck could have been sent to Earth and started killing a bunch of people, but as it so happens, Deck is like the runt of the litter, and literally, like he was about to get fucking like beheaded by his dad if he didn't get shipped off in the next 2 seconds. So if the circumstances of Deck make him a hero rather than kind of just like the story saying, here's your hero.
Well, this is interesting. I'm going to one up you a little bit, because the point that you're making about Deck just kind of trying to be his own individual is valid, but I think the extra layer to that has more to do with family. There's a very interesting family conversation we had here. Found family for sure, especially when you have Deck, whose brother broke the code to protect him, and then you have Thea, whose sister stuck to the code to to accomplish the objective over preserving, feelings and family. And then of course you have Bud, Thea, and Deck, kind of banding together and kind of being their own family. There's a very interesting development of what family means.
Of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, absolutely. Yes. But what does family mean? You have these blood relatives that are kind of breaking what we would consider traditional family. But then you have this found family that can work together. Like I think that was a really interesting aspect of this movie, is the brothers breaking the code in their way to preserve the family, but then the sisters going the other way, where one is trying to preserve the objective, and then the core group that comes together, the found family. That was an interesting thing that developed over the film.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that repeated motif of like wolf and the wolf pack, and trying to build a community. And basically, I mean, Genna is like hell. Like I'm really watching this movie, and I'm like, if Dutch was here, he'd die in 2 seconds. So like the challenge, the stakes have been raised comparatively. But yeah, like I think the only reason how Deck makes it through the hell planet is by making friends and learning that symbiosis is kind of the way you survive in a place like this.
I'll tell you what,
the Mandalorian connection there, I guess. Like it's very similar to the whole like this is the way, and it's just like maybe it's not. And he's like, maybe it's not. I'll take off my helmet, and then in the next season that I never watched, be like, okay, my helmet's back on because Pedro Pascal wasn't here, so let's create a plot reason.
Yeah,
only do VO.
I really think it was a disservice that they played the Mandalorian trailer right before this movie. I literally thought, I watched the Mandalorian trailer played, and then the movie started, and I'm like, more Mandalorian? I lost my train of thought. There's something I was going to say.
Look, Mandalorian and Grogu will do that to you. It'll throw a wrench in your day.
It will, yeah.
All right. Well, look, we're getting.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
Cleric, right? That's the thing that he was originally hunting. I'm gonna tell you what, those spike plants, the paralyzing plants, were a lot scarier to me than the cleric. I was
The-
absolutely on the edge of my seat about whether those plants are going to fire off.
the calyx.
The calyx, sorry, calyx.
Yeah, I don't like
yeah.
needles either, man.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
needles,
clerics are from equilibrium. That's a different hunter change of mind, changing your ways.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm with
so, like-
Thomas entirely. I refuse to watch Requiem of a Dream for a reason.
Do that.
I mean, it's more so
I hate
Darren
needles.
Aronofsky for me.
You hate needle, yeah,
but-
don't touch that. Train spotting and Breckenversion, don't even think about it.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot of movie references going on here, guys. That are not bad.
Well, we do.
This could also be seen as an AI is bad movie.
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
I'm always down for that view.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The connection I made with that was Darren Aronofsky. Darren Aronofsky is using AI or with an AI company. AI bad. The AI is the bad guy in this movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
I think that's valid.
And that's why Shane Black's Predators is not good. We did it, guys. 6 degrees of separation in cinema. All right, so let's start to get into our wrap up here. We'll do some final thoughts. So Shawn, we'll go ahead and start with you. So final thoughts on Predator Badlands.
Yeah, I like the movie. I like the ideas it's set up. I do wish it just did more to stand out and just leave me with more. I think I don't know if we really went into depth about this, but it's a beautiful looking movie. I know we talked about like the environments and everything, but like cinematically, there's some shots, some wide shots of the landscape. It's gorgeous. Like not a bad looking movie in the slightest for the most part.
That sounds great.
Yes. But yeah, while I'm not the biggest fan of this movie, I'm very excited to see where it goes. I just hope Disney makes the right decisions. I'm putting a lot of faith in a company that has no right for me to do so, but I just hope that whether it's Dan Trachtenberg or another filmmaker, whatever they decide to do with this franchise, it's in theaters and it's exciting and it's new and it just keeps going because I think there's a lot more they can do if they haven't already.
Okay. Ethan, what about you? Final thoughts.
I think from this recording, I think what I've learned is that I should watch Killer of Killers.
I will too.
And it's kind of made me more interested in the franchise as a whole. So I'll probably watch at least Predator 2. And I really want to check out this miniseries where it's Wolverine versus the Predator, where it's like different times he's met the Predator in his life. And they got to do something with that in like a movie, but you really can't because it only works because Wolverine is a character who lives forever. And you can have the Predator keep showing up and coming after him. I don't know if it's the same Predator or whatever, but that'd be really interesting. This is a decently fun movie. Don't watch it if you haven't seen Alien. I feel like that would be really weird to watch this and then eventually watch Alien and just know that Weyland-Yutani sucks.
It's pretty inferred, but it makes a lot more sense if you've seen Alien for sure.
Yeah. Good movie. I think my projection was way too dark because y'all are saying this looks a lot better, and I'm like, oh, maybe it was a shit screen. Yeah, there's not much to say besides good movie. You see it and you have fun, and you're like, all right, maybe another one will show up some point.
Thomas, what about you?
Yeah, I like the movie a lot. I really had a good time with it. Again, just to be clear, I think that really that just has to do with the story that's being told, not necessarily that it's a Predator movie. So, take that for what you will. I agree. This podcast, I like to walk away with new thoughts after we have conversations. And so with this podcast, I can now go back and listen to it again and actually note which Predator movies to watch. Thank you guys for that. I now know which ones to avoid. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's murky waters. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, the Shane Black one has the plot be they need to extract the child's autism to become stronger. So that's
Great.
why I'm never going to watch that movie.
Shane
It
Black
is
was
so bad.
honestly like
Guys, stop trying to sell me on it, okay? Like I don't need to be making time for terrible movies.
You love autistic children as much as Shane Black does in cinema? That's crazy. I
Oh
did
my
not know that about
That
you.
guy made The Nice Guys. Like, what the hell? Sorry, I know what I'm talking. Like,
No, that's great.
The Nice
But
Guys.
ultimately, as this obviously, I think that this era of the Predator movies have passed the tests, have proven that they have appeal, that they can be successful. My biggest complaint is that this wasn't filmed for IMAX. So can y'all give Dan an IMAX camera, please, and like make the next one in IMAX so that we can. Obviously, these movies belong in theaters. You might as well just shoot it on IMAX. So that's my final thought.
Okay. And Luca.
I'm not a traditional Predator fan by any means. Again, just to reiterate for the billionth time, not really a fan of any of them that are not Predator or after Prey. So it's kind of astonishing as to how big of a turnaround Trachtenberg has given this franchise in like a 3-year time span. I really enjoyed Badlands. I had a ball with it. It was a press screening at 10 in the morning, and I had to physically restrain myself from not squealing during the movie because it was just so awesome. And I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of my older peers. But I do want to echo Sean's sentiment about how unbelievably worried I am for the future of this franchise, because there are two ways this can go. We can either get the follow-up Predator film about Deck's mom, who's an even worse person than his dad, and it's a big team up, and they just kind of wreak havoc on Yautja Prime. And the other outcome is that they kind of do the same thing as that, but they unfreeze Arnold and Danny Glover, and then it's just kind of like cameos and references. So yeah, I think the future of this franchise has the potential to be very bright, but that the looming cloud that is Disney's track record makes me a little apprehensive.
Yeah. So for me, I actually I agree with kind of the tail end of Luca. I know I had said that would be awesome, but I am retracting my statement right now because I'm realizing that no, it would not. And if it's what you think Disney is going to do, then we definitely need to advocate for the opposite because that will be the better choice. As far as Badlands is concerned, I do find it to be a very fun sci-fi action hero journey. I think it looks great. I think the characters are interesting, and if you remove the long-standing lore of the Predator and however you might feel about that going into it, if you remove some of that, I think it functions really, really well. I think whatever it's borrowing, particularly like we've highlighted, Mandalorian, I actually think it does it better than most of what the Mandalorian has done recently outside of like that first season. So if you're gonna pull from the story, at least you're pulling from the right things. I do think it lacks the rawness and grit of Prey and the kind of unabashed violence of Killer of Killers. But as kind of a final note, the best hands for this franchise are still Dan's. I still think that what he has been able to do, kind of to Luca's point, I think everybody's kind of reiterated the sentiment, but as long as it's him at the helm and he's actually able to kind of make some of these decisions, I think he shows a genuine love and care for the franchise. I think he has some really good inventive ideas of where he wants to take it. And I think we should trust him and not trust Disney. And I think that Disney needs to relinquish some of that and just let him do whatever it is he's got cooked up without the studio notes and without the Marvel Endgame finale that I'm sure they want. And I hope he's resistant to that because I think even when I've heard a lot of people say Trachtenberg is 3 for 3. Even when it's a little bit of a lesser attempt, it's still better than most of the other films in the series. And
low bar.
That's right. Like it's a low bar to clear, but like a lot of people have tried, and even people who are, again, not to hammer on Shane Black too much, but he kind of deserves it. Like he is very close to this franchise. It's something that's very clear and near and dear to his heart, and he fucked it up. So like, I think that Dan Trachtenberg is really the right person for the job, and I think if this is like the worst that he can do, and I'm not saying that like it's a bad movie by any means, but like in comparison to his recent outings, if this is the lesser of the three, then just let him make whatever it is he wants, because even his lesser is still good and still better than most of the things that we've gotten prior. So I think if you want to have a good time at the movies, and I think if you want to just, it's pure popcorn cinema, and we just genuinely don't get that enough. Everything has to be some kind of important franchise. It has to be larger than life. It's got to have all these, it's got to mean something. And sometimes, man, I just want to watch an alien on a planet with bladed grass. Sometimes that's all we need. And killing androids. Like, let's go. I love that. So I'm definitely mixed positive on it. And I walked away from it going, yeah, it's not the best, but by all means, give me more if this is what we're gonna do. So so that does it for Predator Badlands. Obviously, let us know what you guys think. Thank you so much for joining, guys, and we'll see you after the next film.
Woo.
Farewell.